Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're having an amazing day. Let's get right into the stories. The first story is titled, Am I the A-hole for getting my fiance's family gifts that were too personal for Christmas when I'm new to them? I'm engaged to Noah, and this was the first Christmas I spent with his family. I met them in the summer after we moved to be near his family, now that he's finished with college. We're getting married in February, and we're expecting our first child together in May. Being someone who has no family and seeing how close his family was, I wanted to make sure I showed my appreciation for them with the gifts I gave, so I tried to get something each person would love. One of his sisters loves to read, and so I made a book sleeve for her with little details from all her favorite books. One of his nieces is on the spectrum and has wanted clothes for her stuffy, so I made some clothes for her to put on the stuffy. I bought his mom a jewelry box that she had admired a couple of times after she mentioned never having a real one. For his dad, I bought him a frame for his office big enough to hold photos of his whole family on, since he always complained he couldn't find one big enough or nice enough and had no more room for individual frames. I included photos Noah had provided me in it. I got his older sister her favorite makeup, which he mentioned she couldn't afford to buy lately. Then I got his brother a signed piece of memorabilia from his favorite sports team. For the rest of the nieces and nephews, I bought wish list items the parents weren't getting. Noah thought they would love everything. He told me I didn't need to go through the effort. I did. I spent weeks tracking everything down and searching for certain items. But he really thought they'd like them. But when Christmas Day happened, I could tell something was off. I spent the whole time worrying that I had bought them stuff they didn't like anymore or something. They said nothing, but then the next day they asked Noah what the hell I was thinking, and I was like some kind of stalker, buying them such personal stuff when I'm almost a stranger to them. The next day we saw them again, and I apologized for the gifts I gave them and told them I would be a lot more mindful in the future. I offered to make it up to them. One of his sisters called me a stalker to my face and told me it was no wonder my family didn't want me if I was so creepy to do stuff like that. Noah yelled at her. I apologized again and told them I didn't want to hurt anyone and I would learn from this. They told me I had overstepped. Noah said we were leaving and they owed me an apology. I feel so bad. Noah is supporting me and told me I did nothing wrong, but surely there wouldn't be so much offense if that were true. I need to ask, am I the a-hole? Comment said, this is really sad. You went above and beyond for the family of your fiancé, and you were met with distrust and mocking. Not the a-hole. That's hard to get over. Glad your fiancé is standing by you. I distance myself from his family ASAP. Another comment said, not the a-hole. And if my son ever brings home someone so considerate and sweet, I will make sure he knows she's the best woman he can ever hope for, and he better treat her like the angel she is. I can't get behind people who don't want nice gifts. I would be happy to be seen in my interest and or needs. Not your fault. Also, Noah sticking up for you is great. He knows why he loves you, for sure. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not waking my husband up and causing him to miss his flight to attend Christmas with his family? My husband Al is the only son in his family. He's spoiled as duck by his mom and his three sisters. The way I see it, they treat him like royals, call him hair, gift him expensive stuff, prince-level treatment. I didn't have an issue with it at first since they consider it showing love and appreciation, but I used to get into a lot of arguments with his mom and sisters about not making efforts to treat him the way they treat him. Basically, they claim I'm not showing the same level of respect they show him, and because of that, I got disinvited from lots of events, including Christmas. Al's stance is to stay out of it, and when I complained about his family disinviting me from Christmas, he said he could not force them to have guests they didn't want. On the morning of his flight, he slept in and didn't wake up on time. He woke up freaking out and yelling about me being petty and not waking him up before his flight after he asked me to. The reason I didn't wake him up was because I myself was asleep too. Why would I wake up early just to wake him up? His phone was away, since he hates sleeping near electronics. He left in a rush and tried to get on another flight, but failed due to airports being packed. As a result, he missed the Christmas celebration with family. His mom and sisters are pissed, claiming I did this to get back at them and to isolate him from them. Al thinks I acted petty and vicious when I could have woken him up to be with his family. He's still mad and is claiming that I ruined the holidays for him. Comment said, "This is not about your husband sleeping late. You're not a human alarm clock for a guy in his mid-30s. This is about your husband allowing his family to exclude you. He's treating you terribly. Why are you putting up with it? He gets 2 business cards, one for a marriage counselor and one for a divorce lawyer. He can pick who he'd like you to call, not the a-hole." Another comment said, "Not the a-hole. He's not a prince, and you're not his servant. If he refuses to sleep near electronics, then he should make alternative arrangements for an alarm. Like a rooster, he should be on your side in disputes with his family, not cowardly staying out of it." The next story is titled, "Am I the A-hole? Suing my neighbor after she sprayed weedicide on my lawn. So I caught my neighbor spraying weedicide on my lawn in my fenced-in backyard because she said she was sick of all the weeds and thought she was doing me a solid. I like dandelions. They are good for the bees, and I have pet rabbits, dogs, cats, and a tortoise I like to roam the yard, and all of them eat or at least nibble and lick the grass, so it's literally poisoning my pets. So anyway, I kick her the duck out and take all my pets inside. Now 2 of my rabbits are dead, and another is in critical condition. I'll never be able to let my pets outside again to eat the grass because weedicide takes forever to go away, because it can sit in the soil for who knows how long, and I'm worried that the dogs and cats might end up having a reaction too. Since they also nibble the grass, call me overprotective or overcautious, IDC, I love my animals. So I'm suing her for damage to my property because it's now unusable for my animals, veterinary bills, and emotional damage due to the deaths of 2 of my rabbits. I'm also trying to get the cops to pursue a case of animal abuse, or at minimum criminal damage, because she did basically poison my animals. But I doubt anything will come from it because I have to prove ill intent. But they are pursuing her for criminal trespass. She's a Karen. I think she deserves it for thinking she had the right to be on my property at all, and especially because it's killed my pets, and now I don't know what to do about my lawn, because I'm not risking another animal's life by letting them out, at least unsupervised, for at least a year. However, my parents and my girlfriend think I'm being unnecessarily cruel because it was an accident and she thought she was just being a good neighbor, and that I'm making it a bigger deal than it is, and should just ask her to pay the vet bills. Just for your information, she has asked me about the weeds before. I don't remember it verbatim, but basically the conversation was along the lines of her, "Hey, I see you've got a lot of dandelions, weeds, have you noticed that too?" Me, "Yep, I enjoy the look of natural lawn." Her, "Something about my new car." Since she has a kid that always asks about coming over to play with the rabbits, I assumed she knew they ate them. If she was looking over my fence that often, she'd notice the dandelions were only ever flowering in a quarter of the lawn at the time, because my rabbits got cycled in a way that most of the lawn was mostly weed-free, while the part they couldn't get to that week would be sprouting. Update to the story. Thanks for the messages, guys. I'm taking the advice and getting a security camera and a padlock for the fence. Also, in fact, I'm getting a necropsy done. Also, I talked to her, told her that the rabbits died after the fact and there was staining on their pen. She said it's weedicide, not pesticide. They were probably just sick. My rabbits were actually outside when she did this, and there was a stain on their pen. I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure they got a direct spray. Update 2. I got a call from my vet on Monday morning. The necropsy is back. My rabbits died from corrosion to several internal organs and had corrosive burns lining their mouth and nose. My third rabbit also came home today, and only has minor injuries to his throat and a small injury resulting in superficial hair loss and mild irritation on his nose. He'll be on pain meds, and just in case, I have critical care ready for those without rabbits. When rabbits are in pain and sometimes in mourning, they sometimes refuse to eat, so critical care is basically a mix powder that you can syringe feed to keep their digestive system functioning, because GI stasis can be life-threatening. Also, I've contacted a lawyer to move forward with a lawsuit, but they haven't responded. Probably won't until later today, because I contacted them yesterday through email. The vet thinks the stuff the neighbor used wasn't a commercial herbicide because of those chemical burns, as well as because it killed my crabapple tree and the bit near my fence and pool or bear. Comment said, not the a-hole. My neighbor did this last year and got reported to the HOA because the yard she sprayed, under the cover of darkness, she knew it was wrong, belongs to a family with very young children. I'm sorry about your rabbits, and you need to know that it's not your fault, and you are a good owner. Another comment said, not the a-hole. She should have asked you first and talked to you about it. Losing pets is bad rough. Knowing someone directly caused their death is worse. She also trespassed on your property. By a long shot, not the a-hole. You need to add trespassing and gather all the proof you can. Not to mention vet bills are expensive as F. I hope you can sue her. The last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law that no one in our family is named Stephanie? I can't figure it out if I did anything wrong, or if so, what? Because I have no idea what's going on. Hopefully someone here can give me a clue. Here's the relevant information. As far as I know, my brother and his wife are expecting their first girl after 2 boys. I love Ricky and Jace, and so does my sister-in-law, but she has always wanted a girl and is very excited to be having one. She also wants to name the girl Chloe, as she loves that name. My brother hates the name Chloe and really wants to name their daughter Stephanie. They have been arguing about it for a few weeks since finding out the gender. I got to my parents' house late last night, and my sister-in-law was the only person still awake. We talked for a little bit, and she asked me the weirdest question. She asked me if I knew any stories about great-aunt Stephanie. I was so confused. I literally said, who? Sister-in-law clarified that she was talking about our grandmother's older sister that died when Grandma was a little girl. Our grandma had 2 sisters, but their names were Judy and Lynn. There's no one in our family named Stephanie, as far as I know. I told as much to my sister-in-law. She changed the subject after that, and we soon went to bed. This morning, my brother and his wife were both sulking during breakfast. Even the kids could tell. Ricky kept saying, stop being grumpy on Christmas. So it wasn't just my imagination. I got my brother alone and confronted him. He snapped at me for meddling and told me to stay out of his marriage. My brother is pissed at me, and my sister-in-law won't even talk to me. I'm afraid to say anything to my parents and drag them into this, especially since I still don't know what this is all about. Either my grandmother had a secret sister that I don't know about, but my brother does for some reason, or my brother lied to his wife to convince her to name their baby Stephanie. Both options seem equally weird to me. Maybe there's a third possibility I'm not seeing. Reddit, am I the asshole? If so, please explain that to me why. I don't want to be the reason Christmas is ruined. Update, most awkward Christmas Eve dinner ever. Got to keep this short. Everyone now knows what my brother was doing with the kids' names. Except the kids, obviously. They are pissed. Weirdly, my mom is the most pissed. A Christmas truce is in place for the kids, so no fighting on the holiday. However, the baby is definitely going to be named Chloe. My brother very quickly backed down when my mom said a few choice words to him. The topic is completely banned for the rest of festivities. So for now, at least, they've tied a bow on the situation. Christmas morning update. Aside from some glaring over a couple of the boys' stocking stuffers, Robin Funko Pops, everything else went well with the gift opening, as well as being woken up at 5:30 a.m. by being jumped on by one's nephew can. I think my brother realizes he crossed a line and has been very attentive to his wife. He mentioned getting Chloe's name embroidered on some stuff when they get home. He even told Mom he would do a Christmas breakfast, so she could have a break, and he gave me an "I'm sorry" grin when I opened his gift. I think everyone is going to be fine. Comment said, not the a-hole. It's very weird that your sister-in-law is not talking to you. It does sound like your brother was lying to try and get his preferred name, but you only answered a direct question that was asked of you. Does your brother generally treat your sister-in-law well, or does he seem to be the type that could be abusive? That would be a possible reason I see for the sister-in-law to stop talking to you over this. Another comment said, not the a-hole at all. She asked you about your non-existent great-aunt Stephanie, and you understandably said you had no great-aunt Stephanie. You just spoke facts. You didn't bring it up. You weren't meddling in their marriage. How were you to know it had anything to do with their marriage? Not your fault. Your brother lied to his wife and got found out. I get why the brother is mad at being found out, not at you, but no idea why your sister-in-law is mad. Don't sweat it. You didn't ruin Christmas. If anything, you should be mad at them for dragging you into their drama and spoiling yours. Thank you for watching. I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We'll see you again.